Shalom, giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Hodash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth and sincerity. Also, Shalom to you, Akim, on the highway and hedges, discreet teaching, making your body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom to you, sincere believers as well, which consist of men and women. Shalom, Brakatham, and as always, Abba. This is your brother Zakar Aban, coming back with another video. This will be going into like the blood of Abel. Like the blood of Abel. So, a couple of things I've been meditating on, the same way it says in the book of Genesis 4, and I'll grab in just a second, as far as the blood of Abel cried unto the Most High, right? So we're going to start off with the book of Baruch, chapter 3, and Adon Ratazah, this will be edifying. Once again, like the blood of Abel. So this is Baruch 3 and verse 1, but verse 4 is the point. O Adon Yahweh Almighty, power of Israel, Yasharallah. Yasharallah means what? He, Yah, he, Shar, prince, Allah, power. He prince power, prince of power. Yasharallah, the soul in anguish, the troubled spirit cry unto thee. Hear, O Adonai Yahweh, and have mercy, for thou art merciful and have pity upon us. Why is that? Because we came from our lofty, high position. Okay, we are, the people that are at the bottom. We are in the ghettos, the barrios. We the less than in today's society. Right? We the laughed at, we the mocked at, we the ones that always been the picked on, the ridiculed, so on, so on. Hear, O Adonai Yahweh, have mercy, for thou art merciful, and have pity upon us, because we have sinned before thee. For thou endurest forever, and we perish utterly. Right? And we perish like men. I gotta grab it real quick. This comes to mind. But it wasn't what it was supposed to be. We're supposed to be what? Immortal. Right? But for the time being, we are what? Dying like just regular heathens. This is real quick. Psalms 82 and verse we'll start verse 5, but verse 6 and 7 is the point. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. Right? Meaning what? Just sinning, not knowing anything, total confusion, what you have today. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Everything is turned upside down. Everything is out of course. Everything is against, averse to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. This is not the way you're supposed to be conducting yourselves and living. Even the heathens, the actual heathens, they are out of their course, because they're supposed to be what? Servants unto the nation of Israel. So everything is upside down, man. All the foundation of the earth are out of course. I have said you are gods, meaning what? Power. All of you are children of the Most High, right? Because we what? The prince of the power. But you shall die like men and fall like one of the prince. Yes, but we die like men. Okay? And once again, this was not what it supposed to be. Right? We're supposed to be what? Immortal, which we coming back to very, very soon. All right, that's that world to come, the kingdom of heaven, right? For thou endurest forever, and we perish utterly. O Adonai Yahweh Almighty, though thou power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. So just the point I want to touch on. It's a key point. I'm gonna finish this up, but the dead Israelites, like I said, the title of this video is like the blood of Abel. The prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children, meaning what? The descendants, the offspring, which have sinned before thee, and not hearkened unto the voice of thee, their power, for the which cause these plagues cleave unto us. All right, to sum it up, these curses, all right, all these curses have cleaved unto our nation to this very day. Hebrew 101, Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, those are the first, chapters we learn when we first come into the knowledge, right? But let's deal with this. O Adonai Yahweh Almighty, Thou power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. Meaning what? First and foremost, let's go to the book of Revelation 6 and verse 9. Okay? Like I said, I do want to touch on Genesis 4. I want to grab Revelation 6 and verse 9. Because these dead Israelites, we're going to grab it right here. Revelation 6 and verse 9, and it reads, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Adonai Yahweh, and for the testimony which they held. Which they held. This is speaking about the Israelites. All right. And the testimony. All right. Let's grab this real quick. So you're going to have brothers that's going to be put, put to death for what? Prophesying. Revelation 19 and verse 10. This will go into that testimony real swift. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Here's a point. Worship Adonai Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So once again, you're going to have brothers that was out there prophesying that may, lot may be to what? To, die, right? But they're going to be the first ones that can be resurrected. First ones on the chariots, should I say. And for the testimony which they held, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Adonai Yahweh, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Meaning what? Avenge our blood. Okay? Starting off, and we want our vengeance on who? On Esau, Edom, and also the other nations. But first and foremost, on Esau, Edom, who's also known as Cain. Right? Dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So this is going back to the book of Baruch 3 and 4, where it says the dead Israelites. All right? The Jakes that are in the spiritual realm, pleading the cause to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Like, yo, look at these wicked people that have done this. Okay? How long? Baba Kashah, Baba Kashah, Baba Kashah, Baba Kashah, please, 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 make speedy riddance of these people, of our enemies. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Adonai Yahweh, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Okay, so you got, Jakes that's still on this planet, still on this earth, primarily in Babylon the Great. We scatter everywhere, right? On the highways and hedges, street teaching, pleading, begging Yahweh Shema Shai to make speedy riddance of these people. And then we got the Jakes in the spiritual realm doing the same thing. And white robes were given unto every one of them with a purity. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, just for a little moment, unto their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. All right, because we got to understand real quick, in the heavens, time is way much, faster. Okay, so it says a little season. So you're going to have, once again, brothers that may lot position, maybe to be put down, or be beheaded. But ultimately, it's going to be so quick that they're going to go from, being in the spiritual realm to being right in the chariots, man. Okay? And matter of fact, I can grab it real quick. Just to prove that, should be the First Thessalonians. Where is it at? Bear me 1 second. No, Salakia. It's First Thessalonians 4. Yep. First Thessalonians chapter 4. And we start at verse 13. And it reads, but I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. Right? Because when you pass away, and go back to the spiritual realm, when you go to a book of like Job 3 and many other scriptures, is likened unto what? A sleep or rest. For if we believe that Yahweh Shai died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahweh Shai, well, I don't want Yahweh bring with him, sleep in Yahweh Shai, meaning what? You are part of the body of Yahweh Shai. So your works is still going to follow you. Okay? Your works are still going to follow you. Will bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the outer one, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord, the outer one, shall not prevent them which are asleep. Okay, see. For the Yahweh himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of outer one Yahweh, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Like I was saying, where it says a little season in the book of Revelation 6, right? Where it said that little season, these are the Israelites that may have been beheaded for the witness and the testimony of Yahweh Shah, but they're going to be right back, resurrected in the chariots. They will be the first ones, according to scripture. And the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain, right? Because you're going to have some brothers that are in this ministry, in this faith, and once again, that may be put to death, but you're going to have some that are not going to see death. Descended from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, with the trump of Adonai Yahweh, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. The clouds represents the chariots, to meet the outer one Yahweh in the air, right? Outer one Yahweh Shai in the air, and so shall we ever be with the outer one. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. So this is what a comfort, right? So always telling of what's going on, going through the scriptures, right? Explaining of what really is happening. So this is why, I was thinking about Baruch 3 and verse 4. Because we do have, our fellow brethren that are in the actual heavens, the spiritual realm, pleading our case as well, non-stop. All right? So let's go here once again, Revelation 6, make sure I click. And it says, for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Right? This prophecy has to be fulfilled. So once again, this is going to what the dead Israelites in the book of Baruch, chapter 3. So let's read that again. All right, just refreshing it. Baruch 3 and verse 4. And it reads, O Adonai Yahweh, Almighty, thou power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children, which have sinned before thee, and not hearken unto the voice of thee, their power, for the which call these plagues cleave unto us, the dead Israelites. Okay, so now let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 8. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 8, straight to the point. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cry unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. All right, we forever complain continually. Like I was saying, you got the brothers in the heaven, right, the spiritual realm complaining. Then you got us down here, sighing and crying, according to Ezekiel 9 and verse 4, sighing and crying, right? So nonstop, Yahweh Shai is hearing us complaining, which is great. All right, we're supposed to be crying. Matter of fact, before I touch more on that, just to prove this, that we're supposed to be crying, this is an oldie, but it's a goodie. All right, this is Exodus chapter 2 and verse 25. And Adonai Yahweh looked it upon the children of Israel, Yasharallah, and Most High had respect unto them. Matter of fact, Salakia, let's start at verse 23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up unto Adonai Yahweh by reason of the bondage. Now, people may say, well, we're not in chattel slavery, but guess what? We are still subject unto payments. Okay? We're still in debt, right? Debt slavery. So we still are subject to payments until this very day. We still have these people ruling over us. Meaning what? Esau, Edom, and the head of that, which is the Ish people, the small hats, which are the new, which are like the new pharaohs, right? These are the modern day Egyptians. Revelation 11 and verse 8. Because all Egypt means is bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up unto Adonai Yahweh by reason of the bondage. And Adonai Yahweh heard their groaning, and Most High remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. No one else. Only this righteous lineage right here. And Adonai Yahweh looked upon the children of Israel and had respect unto them. Okay? He had respect only unto us, the ones, his people that was in slavery. All right? He's not concerned with any other nation. So 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 8, once again, just had to grab that. Let's read this in the latter. It says, behold, the innocent and righteous blood cry unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. This is touching back off of the dead Israelites in the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 4. All right. So the Most High has a controversy, has a problem with this nation that has done this to his people. Okay, and they did what? They never stopped beating us down, man. All right, to this very day, right? We are still subject to payment. We are still in bondage, you know, in debt. Matter of fact, I gotta grab this, then I'll go to the book of Genesis. This is Zechariah 1, and verse 15, straight to the point. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, right? Why are they at ease? Because this is their kingdom. This is their rest. You know, this is their time to shine, right? This is their time to ball out and have fun, play around. Okay, so this is the heathens' heaven, their kingdom, and this is our hell. Meaning what? Our hell condition. For I was but a little displeased, Salakia, I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped it for the affliction. All right, and they helped continually beat us down. No mercy from Esau all the way down to the rest of these heathens, man. Okay. Never, so to pretty much sum it up, they never took their foot off the gas as far as, you know, making our, burden even heavier, if you will. All right. So as we grab in the book of 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 8, said that our souls are the just complain continually. So let's go to the book of Genesis 4, just to touch more back off of Baruch 3 and verse 4, where it said the dead Israelites. Just to make a quick point as far as, get some history on it. As the scripture says in the book of Romans 15 and verse 4, the scripture that written aforetime was written for our learning. So we're going to start with the book of Genesis 4, and we're going to skip down. We start at verse 3. Read on down to put it in context. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Yahweh. Cain today is known as the Edomite, the so-called Caucasian. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Abel is that righteous lineage. Today would be known as who? The nation of Israel. But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. All right. And why didn't, and Cain, and we see right now how Cain was just already crooked. Okay. That which is, that which is crooked cannot be made straight. He was already crooked. He was already doing things that was already displeasing to the Most High. And the Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lie at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Cain is the first murderer. All right, Cain is the first murderer. That's why Yahweh Shai likened the wicked Jakes onto where it says in the book of John 8, should be verse 44. I'm gonna grab it real quick. I want to butcher it. So you are like your father the devil. Right here it said John 8 and verse 44. It's speaking to the Jakes that would just won't right. John 8 verse 44. You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abide not in the truth, because there's no truth in him. There's no truth in these Edomites. All right, back then was known as what, Cain, which is nothing but, you know, that wicked lineage. There's no truth in these people. So even though, you know, we are a righteous nation, we still got wicked among our own nation that have become just like the wicked. Abide not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. All right. But the point there was that he was a murderer from the beginning. And that murder from the beginning, right, as we see right here, the first murder, it said Abel, his brother, and slew him. Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. So there always been a rivalry between the righteous and the wicked. All right. As the scripture says, there's 2 and 2. If you got righteous, you're going to have wicked. You got up, you're going to have down. So on, so on. And Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel, thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? So what? He's a liar. As we just grabbed in John 8 and verse 44, for what? For he is a liar, a murderer. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cry unto me from the ground. Meaning what? Abel is pleading for the Most High to what? Avenge. Okay? The dead Israelites. As we grabbed in Baruch 3 and verse 4, I'll grab it again. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cry unto me from the ground. Cry from the ground. This is, once again, going in line with Baruch 3 and verse 4, where it says, O Adonai Yahweh Almighty, thou power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. All right? Praying for what? Praying for vengeance of being done unjustly wrong. Okay? It said prayer of the dead Israelites. The same thing with Abel. Abel is of that righteous lineage. That righteous lineage is only the nation of Israel. Okay? So let's go to here real quick. Let's go to Psalms 44, where it says, you know, praying right here. Okay? It said, through thee will we push down our enemies. Through thy name we will tread them under that rise up against us. All right? So that's what we praying for, man. Okay? There's another one I wanted. Praying for what? Vengeance. Praying for the Most High to go ahead and make speedy riddance of these people, man, of this unrighteous kingdom. Salakia. Psalms 16 verse 12, through Adonai Yahweh we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. All right, so waiting for Yahweh Yahweh Shai to go ahead and unleash, a beating upon this wicked kingdom. All right, so sighing and crying, as it says in the book of Ezekiel 9. Go ahead and grab that. That'd be pretty much it. So we ought not to give the Most High rest. Ezekiel 9 and verse 4, and the Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, the people for his place, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. All right. So this is, us, right? Sighing and crying here. Right? Primarily in Babylon the Great, and also to other land that we scattered to. And also, once again, we got our fellow brethren that may have passed away, but they're up there as well in the spiritual realm complaining. Okay? Which are the prayers of the dead Israelites in the book of Baruch 3 and verse 4. So that's pretty much the point there. I don't know if the Zod was edifying. I mean, in it there, give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Hodash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth and sincerity. Shalom to all you Akim. We hope for elect on the highway and hedges, making your body living sacrifice according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom, Brakatham, and as always, a Bible ball. Shalom.